r/AskReddit GameStop employees of Reddit, what are some of your horror stories? Never was an employee, but on the night Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, I was waiting in line and this kid rode up in the parking lot and starting bragging about how he got the first copy and held his copy out the window. After about 10 to 15 seconds of bragging and holding it outside the window, another kid ran up from behind the car, yanked the copy from his hand, and ran into the woods behind the GameStop. They never found the kid who took it, and the kid in the car starting crying immediately. Former employee here. Dad ignoring his child repeatedly saying he had to use the bathroom. Eventually kid screams at father, "You made me poop my pants." Kid more or less pooped on the floor of the store as the father was browsing games. He tried to bail but I made him clean it up. I stood in front of the exit blocking it and told him he needed to clean it. Handed him cleaning stuff and he did it, so I'll give him that. Smelled awful for the record. I worked there during the launch of the Wii, and 2 days before Christmas, an old woman came in to buy one for her grandkids. I explained to her that every store was sold out considering it was the hottest item of the season, and she told me that I ruined her grandkids' Christmas. I looked her dead in the face and said, "No lady, you ruined your grandkids' Christmas." The district manager wasn't very happy about that. This old dude, probably in his 60s, came in. He was holding a leash with a teenager on the other end. She was in a crop top and short skirt. She led the old man to the PSP section. She crouched down and perused the games. She wasn't wearing any underwear. They finally came up to me at the counter and asked if we had Final Fantasy War of the Lions. I said yes. They then asked if we had a bathroom. I said no. Sold them the game and never saw them again. I have a perfect story for this. I was an employee back in 2008, and a guy and his wife came in to sell his PSP. Well, I imagine he had not turned the thing on in some time, because his background was a pic of his wife, doggy style, spreading her hole. I told him he may want to change his background, and you could see his heart drop. He snatched it back, and his wife was asking him what was going on. He pretty much ran from the store. A guy traded in a Nintendo DS in pristine condition, still with its original packaging. He was a nice guy, talking about how he always takes care of his consoles. Anyway. Next customer was a mother and her brat of a child. Returning a DS that was completely smashed and covered in food and dirt. She wanted to claim on the 12-month warranty. My manager dutifully obliges, and just hands her the freshly traded pristine DS. This man-child in his 30s came into the store last week with his mother. She said because he had been a good boy all week he could have an Xbox XMA. This man-child sees 2 games he wants. His mom says he must choose one. This man starts to scream and threatens to shat himself if he doesn't get his way. His mother then tells him to pick one or they will not be getting chicken tenders later. The man shuts up and picks a game. Kid spent his money and donated to one of the foundations we were donating to recently. Mom proceeds to yell at him about the donation, call her husband, threatened to call the cops, and more stuff. Kid was mouthing "I'm sorry" so many times but wasn't a little jar or something, and wasn't a damn thing I could do, but with us not having store leader/assistant store leader, so there wasn't anyone above me to call. Guy used his kids, all under 6 years old, to distract me while he stole a bunch of handhelds we weren't allowed to lock up off the store floor. We weren't allowed more than 1 employee after 5 p.m. during weekdays either, so there wasn't anyone to help and it was half an hour to close. Got blamed by higher-ups for not doing more. I'm 5'4" and not even intimidating to my cats. Needless to say, things like that happened often due to poor management. Had just clocked in and a customer longboarded up to the store, in the mall, with a couple games. He attempted to trade them in, but when I informed him that one was missing he flipped out and called the police. Police officer showed up, reviewed the cameras, and obviously I didn't take it. The guy apologized and left. About 2 hours later someone from JCPenney walked up with the missing game, some baseball game. Was pretty surreal. Former GS employee here. After getting out of the hospital and being cleared to work again, I had a closing shift with the store manager as my first shift back. 5 minutes till close, this guy with a baseball cap and glasses walks in, looks around really quick, flashes a gun at us and tells both of us to open the cash registers. The store manager opened his till and booked it for the back door, leaving me behind with the guy robbing us. It was at this moment I knew I needed a new job. I worked in an EB Games warehouse for a few months before I couldn't take it anymore, doing data entry. One day while I was working at my computer, a cockroach ran across my hands, over the keyboard. Apparently a lot of people sell game consoles that have cockroaches/cockroach eggs in them, so the warehouse was infested with them. Anytime they found a console with evidence of bugs, they had to get rid of it, but still. They weren't paying me nearly enough to deal with that chat. Don't work at GameStop, but some friends who works there caught a police officer stealing. The officer had been a regular for about 2 months when he was caught. There was an amiibo in his back pocket. Same friend also caught an idiot opening an amiibo case, loudly, in front of the employees to try to steal what was inside. Obviously, he was caught. Weird chat goes on in GameStop, counting the time someone walked in with a hentai sweatshirt. Not an employee, neither horror, but I was on Fnac, basically my country's GameStop, and I witnessed an employee trying to convince a couple and their daughters that a Switch had retro compatibility with Wii U and Wii and even PS Vita, and he even dared to show a PS Vita and Switch cartridge to show them how similar it is. Apparently the parents were tech-savvy and so were the daughters. That employee left the store and will only come back as a customer. Had a lady come in to get her kid, 7 to 9-year-old boy, GTA. I told her it was rated M, and read off the content list for her, explaining the type of stuff you can do in the game, like visiting strip clubs and picking up prostitutes. Her reply? Oh, it's okay. He watches Pornhub and Brazzers at home, with a smile on her face like it was the most normal thing to say. I've never been at a loss for words like that before. I don't work there and neither is the story horrible, it's actually a pretty nice one. Me and my girlfriend were looking at those pop figures because they're really expensive here in Brazil compared to the US. The store was almost closing and it was just us in there. 2 of the workers came near us and just started chatting, and the conversation went on for about 20 minutes, in which they told me how the stories of both Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy are really freaking complicated. Former GameStop employee here. This story isn't really game related. 3 times I saw my manager toss a coin into the ass crack of one of my fellow employees when she would bend over. I'm not sure if this was a thing between them two, but her ass crack was almost always showing and I never see her complain about it. A few months into the job I received a call that sexual harassment was filed against him. I'm guessing he was trying to fill a lot of coin slots. Former GameStop employee. Might I add, a female GameStop employee. Had men stare me down in the store and wouldn't leave me alone. One guy touched himself in the store while staring me down behind a display. Another guy followed me into the back room and we had to call mall security and escort him out. I've also had men tell me I know nothing about games because I am female. They either don't acknowledge you or sexually harass you. I was an SGA for about a year and one day I came in to close, 1 to 2 p.m., and there was a child, way too young to be alone, at one of the demo units. Nothing felt out of place until about 20 minutes into my shift and the kid was still there and no adult had shown up. So I asked my friend, the small at the time, how long the kid had been there. He responded with, since I opened. You guessed it, some mom dropped their child off and went to get their nails and hair done down the plaza for 4 hours. I was a regular customer at a GameStop in a small town in Georgia and the staff there know me by name. One day I come in to buy a couple used games and I see their Destiny 1 window display torn to shreds and the inside of the store was a disaster. I asked an employee who was cleaning the mess up what happened. They proceeded to tell me how a homeless man, hopped up on some strong shot, came in and just tore up their store. I was waiting in line at a GameStop and this kid was selling 6 PS2 games. The employee says he can get $6 credit. The kid says $6 each? Nope, $6 for everything. Kid says nah, forget it, and takes the games and walks out. There was also this time my mom pre-ordered Left 4 Dead for me and I was 16 and they wouldn't give me the game even though it was paid for and I had the receipt because I wasn't 17. My mom was so pissed because she had to get down to get it for me. It's no secret that some customers that come in have some hygiene issues. It comes with the gaming territory, so you get used to it and play it off. Or at least I tried until this customer smelled like 30-year-old rotten sour cream and death. Their smell filled my entire store, so you couldn't escape it. I thankfully wasn't the associate who checked them out because I couldn't hold it together. My manager even threw up a little in the back room afterwards. Thanks for watching this auto-generated video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload videos like this one daily. I put a lot of time into developing this video generator, but if there have been errors, please tell me in the comments below. Also leave me a link to another thread you would like to see a video about. Have a great day, Alex.